Hi, everyone. Thanks again for joining us for another episode of the Daily BizLink. Jane Cebrynski is back, and today we're talking about transitions. So as you may know, Jane is a sports life coach, and we often talk in terms of sports and athletes. But today, as it relates to transitions, we're talking about how we transition from wearing one uniform to another. So you may be wondering, what does that mean? Wearing one uniform in our personal lives and then putting on the other uniform for going to work in our professional lives. So super excited about this conversation. Jane, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Lindsay. All right, so give me a 10 moment in Rocktober.
Rocktober, that's right. This week I had the opportunity to go to dinner with my parents, which is always really fun. I look forward to that. But my mom, I did one little post about how grateful I was for her because she's the most thoughtful woman. And she shows up with a gift for me because I did a social media post. So sweet. My heart was overflowing this week because of that one specific moment.
Well, and I have the honor and the privilege of knowing your mother, so I couldn't agree more. And that just sounds just like her. To bring you a gift for being grateful. I love it. She's got such a beautiful heart, and that's where your heart and your spirit come from too. So love it. Yes, I wanted to talk about those transitions and kind of the uniforms that we wear, because as you know, we coach in change. I coach in change, and I specialize in coaching some of the big life transitions that we go through, from divorce to career to empty nest. And today I wanted to just talk about the little transitions that occur in our everyday life. And, you know, transition is just going from one change to the next, but how we can use that for our well-being. And so I was thinking a lot about, now that the lines are still blurred for many, many people who are working from home. And once upon a time, we may have had a commute that helped us kind of transition mentally into, from home to work and from work to home. I mean, we coach a lot in the importance of really making those shifts so that when you get home, you are a 10 for your family, the people that really matter for you. And when you leave in the morning, you're set up to be a 10 for the people that you work with. And with those lines being so blurred right now, it's like, what are we doing to create some of those boundaries and some of those transitions?
I know this one hits home, especially now that team members are continuing to work from home. So personal time is being interwoven with our professional time. And, you're sitting there working on your computer and the kids walk in the door from school and they want to play, but you still have a million things to get done on your list of things to do for work. So what advice do you have for those that are going through this and trying to keep, in one mode at a time?
So the thing is that, again, it's about being really intentional. It's about, and this is really important in terms of creating rituals and routines that also communicate to your family. Because if you're a corporate mom and you work remotely and you also love to work out and you're living in your yoga pants, what that can be confusing to your family to know, like, are you on? Are you off? Can I talk to you now? And so, that's why we talk about uniforms, right? Like when athletes go into their sport, I mean, they physically change their uniform and it mentally transitions them as well as it physically transitions them. And once upon a time, as a woman, maybe you were in your heels and a dress. And when you came home, you immediately changed the clothes, got casual, put the hair up in the ponytail. And that was kind of an indication to everybody that, like, okay, now I'm in mom mode. And so with that being blurred, really setting yourself up, not only, for the people around you, but mentally giving yourself permission to shut things off and to transition and to say, okay, I am now leaving, my work mode, even though it might be in the same room. And so the question is, what are some of the things that you could do to really create those transitions? And, for example, if your office is somewhere in your home that you literally can close the door and it's like, okay, at 5 o'clock, I step out, I close the door. Now, maybe you feel the need to come back later, but it just sends a message to your brain that, okay, I'm going to transition out of this space. And you can then mentally shift your mind to be more present and be more aware. And you can shut your phone off for an hour. Or, I created, because I'm working partially out of my kitchen as well. So I just have a bin, a Tupperware bin with all my client files in it. And what I realized is like, now I'll take that bin and put it away to kind of just signal to me like, okay, I'm done with my work for the day.
Yeah, I've loved hearing from other professional women kind of some of their strategies. Some have used closing the door, or they put a sign up, or they have like a special light that they turn on, which means, hey, I'm too busy. But even for us mentally, when we're changing our outfits and some of those other elements that you mentioned, I think those are some really good some points. So, Jane, what is the challenge of the week? What are we going to focus on over the next couple of days?
Well, I want you to really look at your day and ask yourself, okay, what are the signals? What are the routines? What are the signs that I incorporate to tell myself I'm transitioning and to communicate to my family? So like you said, sometimes it's a sign on the door or a light, but this, I want everyone to understand that this is also for your own well-being. How can you shift that mode for yourself? So for some people, it might be, okay, I'm going to end my day at 5, but I'm going to spend 10 minutes in my office, just maybe meditating or listening to some music. And then when I step out, I'm in like dad mode, or I'm in mom mode, or communicating to the family that, okay, when I put my hair up in a ponytail, that's like the signal that I'm there. It's healthy for your family to be aware too. And, again, it's communication. And it really, again, is for your own personal well-being. And if we don't make those boundaries or those signals more evident, I just know that this is how burnout is happening, because the lines are just so blurred, and we don't have those commutes maybe to decompress, or we're still taking calls all throughout the night because we feel we have to, and that's not necessarily true.
I love that you brought up the idea of giving ourselves just a couple of minutes to take care of our own personal well-being, whether that's meditation or, spending some time just surfing the internet for something that you're excited about or whatever it is.
Yes.
Because I think we are missing out on that time. Often what we're doing is we're going from one, like working, to straight mom mode or whatever that is. And so we aren't giving ourselves that time to rest and or recover. And so, yeah, I do see a lot of friends that are on the verge of burnout. So hopefully these tips will help them get through it over the next couple of weeks. So make sure you're taking some time and building time into your schedule for you. All right, Jane.
Oh, no, and I was just going to say there's something to be said about you can be present, but not actually present. And so how can you make that transition so that you can really be there for your family and the people that matter the most?
Awesome. Well, Jane, thanks again for being here. Look forward to our conversation next week.
Great. Thanks, Lindsay.